Okay, I believe we're live on YouTube. Yes, it's the same old link. There's no need for a new link. It's just that I missed the time. Okay, let's go. So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the traders on YouTube. My apologies for being late. I didn't realize that there was a time change in Dubai here. There isn't a time change. So I hope for those who missed it, you will watch the recording. So next week we'll be on the right time now that I know there's a time change, right? So it's the same link that is on Facebook, and the same link will be all until April. So you guys can help share it. Let's start. As usual, we will start with the account. So last week I wasn't here. I'll update you with what happened last week, where we were, and where we left off. So the previous week we left off, let me use yellow. Previously we left off, this one was 600, I think, and 22. This one was in a drawdown of about, if I can remember clearly, the drawdown was somewhere about 590 something, if I can remember, 590 something. That was the week that I did it the last. For last week, this one here was at 642, actually 642. Closed last week, and this one was in a deeper drawdown. It was actually at a drawdown of 542 too. 542, that was a drawdown for last week. If I had done the webinar, that is what you would have seen. So for this week, it's now at 632, which means I closed a few trades at lost. I closed 2 trades for lost. And this has gone up because the trades that I am in now is starting to go in my direction, right? Which is, they're long-term trades. And if you notice, I will go through the trades one by one. So let's start with the punk cat trade. If you look at the punk cat trade, you notice I have 2 trades on. One is positive and one is negative. So let's go look at those trades. What were the trades? What did I take them and what happened? So if you remember, I was telling you the week before when I did the analysis that I'm expecting this. First, I'm expecting it to go down big time. That's the plan, right? It's a bigger trade to the downside. So what we were looking at is when we look at this whole the current corrective structure they had, is that we were expecting this piece here in the middle to make one more down, then go up and then come down. Right? That's how I saw it at that time. So let me go on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, this is what it looks like. It looks like we were looking for this piece here to make a flat, drop to this level, and then go back up before they come. So I was trying to trade to get this piece. I got in a trade right here. In the break of that, I got in the trade there. As you can see, it took off. Now, if you were trading, and my traders who took the same trade with me, they actually closed it just before it started to go up for a very small loss or even for profit, because there was news event coming. So we closed it for the news, and they were not supposed to get in back the trade until it breaks the low. Well, I kept my trade because I ignore most of those news depending on how I'm trading and whether it's a long-term trade. And I didn't really care about that. It actually went up more. Normally, if I was in front of the chart when that happened, I would have probably closed it here or on this pullback. Both of those times I were not there. I wasn't there, and I wasn't worried about this trade because the longer-term trade for me is still downside. So what's the next option? Well, it has to pull back, right? At any point, if this is going to continue to, and I've showed you that many times. If you see an impulse moving, remember the basic structure. This is one of the things I think many traders, many, I mean 90-95% of traders struggle with, that they end up losing their account with. They end up not making money, and they end up getting very frustrated with, is they don't understand the basic concept of how market moves. It's a very basic concept. You get an impulse. That impulse at some point will correct itself, and it will make another impulse. Now, this is very simple. When I draw it, it's very simple. None of you see this. If you're not in my group, you don't see this stuff. As the traders who are now doing the course, now taking the training course with us, they start seeing it, and their eyes start opening. Wow, I was falling for 2 years, and I really thought I got this stuff, and then I took the course, and then I started figuring out, oh, now I can see it. Thinking you see it and start really seeing it when you're in the group is a whole different story. And then you train to recognize it more, because you still have to have confidence that it's going to happen. And if you don't have that confidence, it's not going to happen for you. So as you can see, and I showed you this last week, where would that go? If you were looking at this structure, where would it go? Up, right? And then what happened? It break down a little. So what most traders do in the market, they panic, they close their trade, they take big losses, and then they end up with, oh my God, look, it's going up now. I missed that whole thing. That oh my God moment. Oh my God, look what's happening. And now I close it, I was in the sell, and now the sell is going opposite, and I'm losing. I lose money in the buy, and now I'm losing money in the sell, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's exactly what you should say to yourself. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Because you don't. And when you understand structure, you start understanding that this is going to go down. Now, all you have to do is manage the trade and make sure you're not blowing up your account. So, look at this. Trade comes, go to the top. As a matter of fact, that was not the first sell that I have for positive there. You see two trades, one positive. There was a positive trade in here also that closed for positive, because that was my first attempt that it's going to go down. There was a second trade that closed right at the top there that I closed when it started to make this consolidation, because if the consolidation didn't break out, I closed the trade because I want to see it break out. So close the trade, and I got in a second trade here. So actually there were two trades that I took money from. One I took money from is this one. The first attempt at the sell was in here. Got this out. I think they got it to a very small, maybe break even. Then a second attempt at the sell was here. That trade got closed here, and then this trade taken somewhere here. So that is a trade. Now, what is this going to do? Well, let's make an assumption that you look at this thing, you can make a wild guess what it's going to do, right? And I specifically put these lines here so you can figure out that every time they break that line, they break the line, they break the line, they break the line, they break the line. See what they do? They come down, they come down, they come down, they come. Now, all you have to watch is how they're going to come down. What structure you make when you come down. And like I said, that's easier said than done. Most of you can't even figure out what it's going to do, right? So at some point, it will make a consolidation, and I hope they do. Because that would give me the confirmation that we're coming all the way to the bottom. Not only would this trade make money and this trade make money, I'm going to be adding a second and a third and a fourth one onto that to go down to the bottom. If at any point I figure out that this thing is going to go back up, that it's going to turn to go back up, which this structure is not impossible, but very rare, then what I would do is exit both trades and take and buy it to the upside. Looking at the weights coming down here now, look at every time it make an attempt to come down like that. It doesn't go back up, right? Every time you get that sharp impulse, that sharp impulse, that sharp impulse, that sharp, you don't go back up just like that. So there's very rare chance that this is going to go back up. It's probably going to make a correction and drop. So this is a trade. If you're not in, this is a trade you can focus on, because this trade has very long-term profit. The move you're looking for actually is this one. See that? If you look at it, you can have a great idea what to look for. You're looking for this trade, and we're trading it from the top, then you're trading it from here, then you're trading it from here, you're trading it from there, and all of this you can take. Every time you get a correction, you add another trade to it. That is if, of course, you can read what the structure is doing. Now, since I don't give trade signals, I don't sell signals, and I'm not giving anybody any trade to take, you should only do that. I'm telling you what I would do. You should only take trades like that if you understand what you're doing. Because when it was going up a little more, I got like about 20 messages. Hey, it's going up. What should I do? I took the trade you tell us to take it. Now it's going up. I'm like, no. I never said anybody should take any trade. What I'm giving you here is my views. So if you don't know how to manage trades, if you don't have a strategy how to trade, do not take trades. You will panic and lose your account. I will not. There's a difference between the way the two of us are going to trade. Huge difference. So do not take trades based on my analysis. My analysis is a help to you, is a guidance to you, if, of course, you understand the idea of wave analysis and if you have a strategy to trade. All right, let's get that very clear. You must first have a strategy to trade. The basic things of trading, the number one thing you should know is analysis. Being able to analyze the chart, using the right tool to analyze the chart. And that is what I'm giving you here today. My analysis, the way I analyze the chart and how I view the chart and what I expect it to, that's what I'm giving you here today. The second part of that is your strategy. How you're going to enter the trade. I'm not giving you that part. That part is reserved for my group, my training group. And the third part of that is money management. I've given you this already. It's on my Facebook page. How to manage trades, how to take risk, how to calculate risk to reward, how to calculate your risk management, money management. Make sure you're not taking the trades that has bad risk to reward, taking the trades that has good to reward, and putting the right lot of money side, risking the right size of money at every time in a trade. So you don't over risk and you don't lose your account on 1 and 2 trades. This is free. This is actually on my trade, my Facebook page there. It's there all the time. You just have to go and check it out. This one I'm giving you every week. This one is reserved for my group. I think giving you 2/3 of what I do is more than enough, right? So this is my analysis. Now you might not be able to use it, and that's okay. You can watch until you like it, and if you like what I'm doing, you can join our group. It's easy. You know, that's an easy. There are about 40 people who join, and they're doing very good, at least for the last course. They're doing excellent. They're going to be making, some of them are already making money. One of them already sent me a snapshot where he made back his money already that he paid. He made 3,000, he paid 2,005. I think he posted in our group, or was it to me alone? I can't remember. But I got it. So I don't know if anybody in the group else saw it, but he made back the money he paid for the course already. And he just joined and now he's doing the course. So it's your choice, right? You have to decide what's best for you. So let's go. This will be a good trade. All punk trades will be good trades. So I'm going to go through all the punk trades because I think I've made this, I've been stressing this for like about 3 weeks. All the punk trades you need to look at. British punk, as you notice, that is a sell we have there from that level. All of them have the same structure and they're going down. So you would see that is a sell we have. I have that trade on and that is positive. That's the punk Oz. That one is already, that one also was 2 attempts to get in it. My first attempt to get into that trade was a sell from this level. Was a sell from here last week, which turned out to be a break-even trade because I closed that for break-even. It just wasn't going. And when they broke the top there, I closed the trade. It went, you got a second trade into this, right? And that one is going good. That one is going to, once it breaks this uptrend here, that's a smaller, lower degree uptrend. Once it breaks that trend, you're expecting that to come to this level and then expecting it to break out. Now, is it going to break out? I don't know. You don't have to know that. That the analysis is not based on the fact that it has to break out, but I do believe it's going to break out. We have completed the 5th wave, the 3rd impulse to the upside. Well, at least we are in the 3rd impulse. We haven't completed it. We don't know whether we have completed it, but we have broken the top of the correction, and that for me is enough qualification that it's probably completed. So I will take any sell setup I get from the top. A lot of my traders took the pound New Zealand as well. I was in the pound New Zealand sell twice, and I closed them, which I think. Well, I wouldn't say I blame myself. I just happened to get into more, so I didn't take it. So I took this twice as well. You can see very same structure, right? Downside, same thing. This one is already broken out of the consolidation. So let me show you this one now. Actually, the entire group, we took this in our trading group. The entire group took it. We took it from this level here. I think it was from somewhere in this level. And when it started to go back up, it took me out for a break even. Took all of us out for a break even. The reason I put this to break even is because there's a chance they will make a new high and I would sell it again. Now, I was supposed to put an entry order here, like all my traders. I think some of them did put the entry order, and I totally just missed putting that entry order. That's the reason I took the Pong House, because I wasn't in the Pong House. After I realized I didn't have this entry order, and I go for the Pong House. Well, as you see, this would have been a better trade than the Pong House, but it doesn't matter, right? I got the Pong House and the Pound Swiss, so I'm okay with that. Pound New Zealand, same structure, same trade, same thing it's doing. Right? So this is the trade. Once you get that trade, you can see the trade setup. There was an entry from here and there was an entry from here. 2 entries. Now, is this the one that's going to go? You don't care anymore. It doesn't matter to you. And if this is the one you get out of the trade and you take the next one. The next one will likely go. This is going to break to the downside. Pang Can. I showed you this already. Pang Yen. Pang Yen is the only one we didn't have the forecast for the downside because structurally this has to go up more. So we will not be buying, we will not be selling this, right? Don't ignore this one. We're not selling this one. Pound Swiss is the next one we're looking for sell setups, right? So come to this, it's now breaking. So I think it was the Pound Swiss also we sold. I was in the Pound Swiss also. We sold the Pound Swiss on this first one here. It went up a little, came down. Go back up. On the way up, I think we got taken out there, went a little, and it broke the structure. This was where the next entry is supposed to go. I didn't put it because it's not going so aggressive. Now you can still get into these trades. Once the impulse prove they're going to go, this one is actually breaking out of the first. You can see we're breaking out of that first trend, but it's still in the bigger trend. Now this one the way this is going is not so aggressive, but once it comes down more and make a flag or a correction, that would be your trade setup. That would confirm you get something like this and you sell it and you stay with it. You get another one like that, you sell it here and you stay with it. So let's see if we get this, we'll sell it and stay with it. So there's more sell to come on the pound trades. right? If you're following me, you would know I've been saying that for at least a month now. Watch the pound trades. They're all correcting to the upside. When that correction finishes, you're going to have some very nice trades to the downside. Watch the euro pound. It has to make one more low. When it breaks the low, you can start looking for upside trades. So now we'll keep this. This one doesn't look perfectly up because this looks more like a correction. So I wouldn't be surprised if this drops one more time and then start the upside. Right? There's a possibility that you can get one more drop here before you get any buy setup. You can even take the sell here. If you get a sell setup here, take it. That might be the reaction of the euro making a drop or something like that. So let's go. Those are the trades that you can see. Another trade that I'm going to go with that I'm in is silver. Well, I don't think I need to explain this because you know I'm only buyer in silver. I don't sell silver. So silver trade, you would see it's in minus. That's because I got in a little too early last week. I didn't manage. Where you see that line here, that's where I got in. Why I got in there? Because we were looking at this structure and I thought possibly they would make one more up because I was looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a pattern I know. So if they were going to make that pattern, I would want that trade to the upside. I never want to be out of the silver. I'd rather be in the silver and let it go down than be out of the silver and it's going up, right? So it dropped off of there and I decided, well, I'm just going to leave it. If silver is in minus, I never closed it for negative. All my silver trades were close for positive and they were all close for positive as long as we were in this consolidation. As long as we're in that consolidation, I'm not taking a loss in silver. My risk is calculated to 0. So is it going to go to 0? Of course not. So what silver did was we saw the turn actually coming. Because I have a very big lot on silver already, I'm not adding a second one to that because the lot I have in is 70,000. That's pretty big, right? So I'm not adding a second one to that. We saw that breakout. Some of my traders got that trade from there and it's going well. It probably will make a correction. Now, can this in any case drop some more? I think so. It's possible. We can't exclude the fact that they might even retest it a little bit. With this now, they would have to drop, make a flag, and then you can exit the trade if you see that. Or decide if you want to keep it. That's up to you, right? And buy back some more from here. You can. I will probably exit mine if I see it's going down, but I don't think they're going down now. There's a good chance that this whole pattern here might be a big expanding flat and we go from here. So if it makes a flag, that would be a good trade for you. If it makes a flag here now, right? And there's a possibility you might start to see a 60 minutes flag in the making there. If you look at it clearly, you might start to see it's making a 60 minutes flag here possible. If that proves to be a 60-minute flag, that's your trade to the upside. If you're not in the trade, right? This was the second, this was where my traders bought an entry order above there. That was just before non-farm payroll, by the way. Right? We got that entry order there. So is it going to go down from here? Is this all one big correction for downside? We don't know. You don't have to know that right now. Wait, let this piece tell you what it's going to do. Silver, big time upside. The trade I'm trading for silver is not the short trade and it's not for downside. The trade I'm looking for silver is this trade. I think you can see it. That is the trade, this move. So I'll rather live through this drawdown on silver rather than don't be in a silver trade and it does that. If silver takes off like this, see this move here, and I miss that entire move, I will regret it much more than if it comes here and then turn to do that move. Because it's going to happen, right? It's a question of when it's going to happen. And when silver starts to move, it can move really fast sometimes. See that? You don't really get a good entry in it. Because as it's moving fast, when it's as these candles get bigger and bigger, you will not be able to find a good correction to get in. If you're looking at this thing, no correction in that. There was a small correction here, you likely wouldn't have got into that. So if you're trading in the higher time frame, but this is what you have to be careful of. So it's not like we didn't know what silver, because some of my traders even sold the silver. It's not you don't know what it's doing. It's what's your trade view. Some of my traders sold it from here, which I said you can sell. We actually call a sell for that. You can sell that if you want to sell silver. I'm not selling silver. So all they had to do when it came here was put it to break even. And if they were lucky, unlucky, they would got a break even trade. If they're lucky, they get this trade. For me, that difference doesn't make anything. It doesn't make a difference to me. Because the bigger trade I'm looking for is silver to go to 20 something, 30 something, and not at 15, 16. Within that range, I'm a buyer. Right? I think I've been saying this for a year now, so this is not news to anybody, right? Silver, I'm a buyer, that's it. So let's look at what are the trades. The other trade you would see is euro. Euro, actually, there were two trades. One was positive, one was negative. The positive one closed. I closed it just before non-farm payroll, and then I got tagged on this one. This is just 1,000. For me, that's like a couple pips. That's just barely tagged because it's 10 standard lots. Silver is going. Then, and the CAD trades. The only other one you have here is the US CAD. So what I think that one was a little, that one I should have closed. If I looked at it, that one I should have closed because I was going for a small trade there and I got tagged in it. So let me show you that one. We're in this structure. Basically, this structure will eventually break to the downside. Most time they do. So when they come to the low, they'll tend to go back up. So when it was here, I was expecting one more drop. And I took a trade there. So that's like exactly at the bottom there, right? I was going for a very short trade. I think I was going for this trade. This short break here, see that piece that broke there? That's where I got tagged for the downside. I was looking for one more of this impulse to the downside like that before they go up. I thought it would be a running flat. So I was going for the running flat structure. It tagged me, and I think there was a news event that dragged it up. But also one that I should have closed, I didn't close it. Went up. You don't have to worry. I've shown you this when I did my live trading. I've shown you twice how you manage trades like those, right? If you remember, the pound Swiss was one, and there was another one which I showed you twice how you can get out for a very small loss or positive. Because if this happens, it has to come back here before they go. And you get out of the trade somewhere here. So you take a small loss, and now you're in the buy to the upside. If that is not so, and one of the other reasons why I take the trade also is because potentially this could have been the top, and now you're making a flat here. And if that is a flat, this is coming straight down. So that is a reason why I took this, because it could have been a running flat, which means they would do this, make something like that, then drop. And CAD has a lot of running flats. So because it makes a lot of running flat, I was like, okay, if this is going to be a running flat, it would be good to be in early. No big deal. This is coming back. It's going to come lower. As a matter of fact, I took one, I think on the 1 hour, I had one sell on this already that I closed for slight positive, nothing much. And then I think it was from the top there, I closed that one, and then I closed this before the big drop, and I sold it back somewhere here in the break here. So this is like 2 trades, but these are very small trades. Let's see if this turns out to be an impulse to the downside or a correction, right? If this turns out to just be a correction, then you'll go for break even, or I'll probably take the loss and look for a buy for the upside. That's it. That's all for those trades, right? So those are the trades I'm in. That is where they count. My account is always in a drawdown. I think from the very first time you joined me for the live training, you know this, right? My account is in a drawdown. There was only once when the account was above what I booked already. It's what you're booking that is growing positive every time, right? So the first time I showed you this account, it was the account cash value in the account was 545. Now it's 632. So it's growing. That's the main thing, right? It's always going to be in drawdown. Drawdown is not a loss or a win. Remember, I had $40-something thousand win in silver. I ended up closing it, I think, for $20-something thousand. I ended up closing it for 6,000. So it doesn't matter if you're positive or negative in the trades. It's only when you close the trades that what counts. You could be 100,000 positive in the trade and come back to zero if you don't close it in time, right? So you count only what you booked, and until you close the next trade, nothing is wrong with that. I've had trades that went 40,000 drawdown and then came back. Well, remember, my account is $600,000 now, right? It's not a small account. So $40,000 drawdown and a $600,000 account is not killing you. Right? And that when you can wait for it to come back, and I end up closing them for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 profit. The Punkad, I think that's going to be closing for $100,000 profit. Punkad is definitely going to be going for a big profit. No question in that. Whether it's going to be the cat falling or the punk falling or both of them falling, I don't know. We will look at that today and we'll tell you. So let's go. Let's start. By the way, just a reminder, because I think one guy asked the question on my Facebook. He said, I think with the comment he posted, he doesn't know whether that's a live account or not. It's a live account and it's not my account. It belongs to one of my investors. I think most of you have seen the name when I was showing you actually when I was showing you guys the live trading, right? Right. So just bear in mind that's a live account, and that's one of the reasons I've started doing this is because of the amount of scammers. By the way, some of you send me messages on Facebook. You got a message from somebody who copied created a Facebook page just like mine. I don't know how many of you got that message. Anybody in here got that message? Somebody created a Facebook page looking just like mine and telling you to invest in them. I don't think by now anybody is fooled by which is my Facebook page, right? Because you would see that it's not a new page. And I will never send you a message. Just remember this. I will never send you a message telling you to invest in me or to do anything or to buy signals from me. I will never send you a message. I don't send anybody a message. I don't have time for that. So if you receive any message from me without you contacting me first, it's not me, right? It's just not me. I don't do that. That's one of the things I have no time to do. So somebody telling you that they're directing you to someone else, I think so. I got about 6 messages from people today on Facebook telling me that somebody created one. And right? So anybody got that message on the Facebook thing? Nobody in here? 6 people sent me that nobody in here got the message. That's strange. So let me probably bring up the site then. Let's go get that site so you guys will see it so you don't fall trapped to that. I got a few more messages. I can tell you this guy sent me the message. Oh, somebody just sent a link there again. Look, this one, right? This is not me. This is a new thing somebody created. They just copy my Facebook page and they're using it. Report it. You can report these pages. You just click on the page just so you know, and you can report it. You can see it's a new page. You can click here, I think, to report. No, this is not the link. I think somebody sent me the link. Let me see which. This guy sent me the link. Right? These are all people who got messages from that person. Come on. Gaurav, I think you got it too. Yep. One of them said, look, another person. If somebody sent me the link with it, I don't know where the link is. It's fake. It's just not mine. So maybe there's another person using it, right? So don't just, if you should know which is mine by now. And the best thing you want to do is if you want to contact me, use Skype. Let me just type that so you will know. It's MANGAL 457. This is where you should contact me. And if somebody is creating a fake one like that, which I don't think it makes sense for them to do, I will tell you how to know it's me. So contact me by Skype. You will know it's me. Don't worry. Just crazy what people are doing. And some people will fall for that. The link to my Facebook page, nobody doesn't know the link to my Facebook page. I just actually put it on. Pro Wave Trader, you would see that it's not a new page. This is how you would know this is my page. It's not a new page that just opened. It has all my analysis, it has everything. And it has the amount of people following me. So 1 second, guys, let me just take this while you're watching that page. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Somebody is doing a delivery important. I just have to collect it. Sorry about that, right? Yeah, so this is my page. You shouldn't have a problem finding me and knowing that it's me because it's not a new page and it has everything about me here. So don't get fooled by that. This is not the first time this is happening. And some people do fall for that, right? Some people do fall for that trap and they end up losing their money. I don't want you to lose your money. Don't worry, I will never contact you. That's a promise. I will never contact you asking you to put money and give me money to trade or all those crazy stuff. I wait until people contact me and then I talk to them. I don't have time to send out those crap messages all over the place. Let's go. Dollar index. So what we told you about dollar index when it was here is that it's going to go back up and we're likely expecting it to come back down, right? So there's a good chance that dollar index might come back to this and even make a lower low. Let's go to the 4 hours so you can see that structure. We might be going in a sideways move. So I wouldn't be surprised if dollar index comes back all the way to the bottom here. And we might be in a bigger sideways move there. We'll watch this piece here to see whether it's going to make any move to the upside now would be limited, which means that doesn't mean that this doesn't go a little more like that, but that would be limited move. So I'm not really looking for buy setups. I'm looking for sell setups to come down here this week. Let's see if that happens. Euro. Euro, it means we're looking for the opposite. And the euro buy, as I told you, I was already in the buy. I actually closed 1 euro trade for positive. So the first euro trade I have was from this level. and I closed it exactly around here just before non-farm payroll, and I had an entry order just above that one. That is the one that got tagged. So that little minus you're seeing is because I was tagged during non-farm payroll. If I close my trade, I put the entry order back onto it just because I didn't want to lose the move to the upside. Right? So what I'm really looking for is some consolidation here and then the continuation to go. Now you should wait for the flag. So the trade I put there is just because I was already in the trade. That's why I put that. If I wasn't there, I wouldn't be there. Right? I wouldn't be doing that. So what we're looking for now is the upside. Take this out. And as you can see, this pattern, same thing we're selling. We're selling this last week. I don't know, maybe you guys didn't see this because I didn't do the webinar, but we were selling that last week and now we're looking for buy. So you wait for a correction here and you look for upside. This should break out. I think it should break out. We should make a bigger correction here and then go. Now, what are the chances this could drop to the downside and drop out of that pattern? It could happen, but it's rare. I don't see a structure that supports that right now, unless something else happens, unless this becomes a bigger running flat in the middle here, go back like that, come here and then do that and drop. Those are the continuation of that pattern, making it a bigger corrective structure is what might make a drop. But for now, we're expecting this pattern to go up. So wait for a flag, wait for correction, buy. Pong is the only one that might. I do think it could go up, but be careful with the Pong. We expect this to come back one more up, but be careful. Pong structurally could drop to the downside, right? So Pong, with all the Pong pairs looking like that, Pong structurally is telling us that it could go, right? If you're looking at this here, we were expecting this to come down from here after a big expanding flat. That didn't happen. It's still possible to be an expanding flat. So if this drops, we will go with the expanding flat pattern. Could it be a smaller pattern in the middle here? Could this be a smaller pattern and ending the structure here before the up move? Possible. So if this move goes up, we will exclude the expanding flat. It means that the expanding flat is incorrect. We got that wrong. That's okay. When you're making forecasts, you get things wrong. And when you do pattern and you understand structure, you would understand that sometimes the combination you make for the pattern is incorrect. Right? Because you have to build a pattern, you have to look at the pattern and make decision which is the correct pattern, especially when there's a possibility of 3 or 4 different patterns building at the same time. Right? One of the things you can learn that from is the pump card. I think I showed you that already many times, especially if you're new in here. I think I still have to repeat it like 100 times because traders who've been watching me for 1 year still get confused with that complexity of the patterns. It's not simple. So it's easy when you know it. Wait for this. If you get a flag, we sell. If they make an impulse up, we would look for buy setups. Aussie, you can look for buy setups because I think this is going to go more. Let me just get this correct. Take this out. Wait for a correction. They're making a correction there. Wait for a correction. If they make a flag here, you go for the buy. I don't think you want the sell in the Aussies yet. If you're going to put a sell in the Aussie for a running flat pattern or an expanding flat pattern, you have to sell under the low. So you'll have an entry under the low if you want to sell it. I would not be looking for a sell in the Aussie. I'll be most likely looking for a buy because the buy is more long-term than the sell. Sell might just be one more impulse down. Every sell now is one more impulse down. New Zealand has a similar structure. I would have loved this to break the low first. Sorry, break this low. That's not a straight line. Break this low before they go up. But it doesn't mean they can't go up without breaking the low. It just makes a different pattern, a more solid pattern for me when they break that low before they go. It's just a regular flat. When they make a contracting flat like this, that is difficult to trade. Which means every time you take a trade from this one, you have to be worried that they can retest the low and then go. But if they test the low first and then you take a trade, you're on a safer side of it. So if you get a flag here, you can take a trade, but you'll have to be very careful with this. You'll have to manage the trade very close, right? Yen. Sideways, sideways, sideways. I think we're just making a bigger sideways, right? This is a bigger, and this might just be one part of it. So there's a possibility yen could go up like this, come back like this, and then continue to the upside. We're going to go to the upside. The bigger picture is actually going to the upside. It's not, I don't think yen is a new one for us, right? This entire structure is going up. We told you that a way back. We looked at the whole structure. It's actually this one, because this never broke the low, so we're looking for that. And it just might be doing a bigger one, which means you get a correction here, you go there, and then you might come back here before they go. But this piece at least will come to retest that top very close. So let's see if we get a correction here, and then we're going to look for the upside. Short term, you can buy. Short term, you can definitely buy this in a short term. This is a buyable one. You can actually wait for this. And if that happens, you can buy it here. If they go slow, you wait for the downside, and then you look for the buy. Short term, you can buy to the upside. It might just be break-even trades. But if they go very fast to make a running flat, you'll be glad you buy it. If you're not sure about what it's doing, just leave it because it's consolidation. I just leave out of that. That's consolidation. That was a buy entry, by the way. Here's CAT. CAT, I showed you what to do. We're waiting on this. If you get a flag here, you sell. If you're going to buy, you have to buy above this stop. It could be a bigger consolidation, which means they will be going lower. That is why you can look for sell. Something like this. You get a flag, you sell. You get a correction here, you sell. So if this piece starts making a correction, you can look for a sell setup. Swiss, that was a sell there. Take this out. Big picture, Swiss might come back some more, right? It might come back some more here, but we want them to break this top. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that first, then come. The big picture, we're at the top already. So let me give you the daily. We're already at the top of a structure that looks like this. Right? It's up. You get a pullback. You get a pullback. You get a right somewhere here. You're going to get a pullback. Right? Even if they're going to go up, I think very likely we might break. So you're at the top of the structure. If it goes up, it's very short term. That is going to be very, very short term for you. If you get a buy here, it's going to be short term. You can take the trade, take your profit, get out. If you get a sell, take the trade, put it to break even, leave it alone. Silver, wait for your buy opportunity. Gold, look for a buy opportunity. All right. Gold daily is upside. That doesn't mean they don't consolidate here before they go. You can consolidate here and then take off. Yeah, this is a consolidation in the up move, so we can probably get one here. I don't see a structure whereby gold is going to go down. If gold is going to go down, then this whole structure will simply be a bigger corrective structure. I don't think that is going to happen. I'm not going to give you the reason, but we did this in our group. And the worst case is that we expect this might make a correction here, but then it's going to go up. There's a pattern. There are many patterns like this already in the chart that we looked at. Euro yen. Euro yen, possible downside. There's no necessity for that downside, to be honest, because you're getting a very good structure here for upside. The reversal. So either this is going to go retest the low, which I doubt, wait for corrections and then sell, or we're going to make a big correction here and then take off. This piece might make, so trading wise, it might not be worth doing anything at the euro yen because this might end up turning out into a big correction here. And then we're going to go something like they will start like a move and then, you get something like this and then you end up going. So I think we could get a big correction here before they go out, but it's more outside of the structure. It's going up. Euro Oz, you're looking for sell setups. But as you can see, that sell setup is not the one that is going to go down. You will get it to this level. You're going to get one more up, and then you're going to go. Pretty much like what we were looking for in the Pound Oz and the Pound Cat and all those. You start to see the pattern as it develops, and it's an incomplete pattern. So that means that we're expecting this to come here, go back up, then come down. The bigger direction is downside, but you might either have to trade the small trades in there before you get a big one, or wait. All right, wait, let's see what's happening. This move to the downside is going to be much bigger too. We were expecting a very big daily move, but for now we will go with the very short move. This whole pattern might come back all the way to these lows, all the way back to these lows. It's not coming in a straight line. That's why you're going for one trade at a time, right? You see how this one came down? So you're not expecting this to come in a straight line. They might do this, go back up, come here, go back. You might end up with something like this. Let's see how fast it's going to come. The trade you're looking for this week is downside. And when it gets to this low, you want to take profit and then put entry order if you can. Watch this level here because I think they're going to go back up after that. Euro New Zealand. Okay, where we are in the big picture of this, kind of going sideways here, but they need to make one more move up. We need one more move up. The thing is, we might end up with a running flat. Right, we've got a sharp move down, we've got a sharp move up, we're getting this here. So I expect one more there and then downside to the top and then downside. It could actually work its way down, do this, and then come down as a running flat. Which is it going to be? Well, you will have to trade. Every trade you take, you'll have to take it very small, right? Which means if you take this trade, if you get a buy setup, and I think we might get a buy setup very soon. If this comes back to this level and take off, we could get that buy setup. You can see this. Look for that trade. That is this trade up here, and then we will look for the trade to the downside. So let's hope we get that. 1 second, guys. I might have to get the door. I'm sorry about this. I know it's disturbance, but this guy decided to come now. Let me see if my wife could get it if she's around. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. A little disturbance. Yeah, let's go. So EuroCAD is correcting to the upside. There's a big trade to the downside. So if you get any sell set up, take it, put it to break even. Right? If you get a sell set up here, if this is correcting, so I think they might still make some noise here before they go. But if you get any sell set up here, take it, put it to break even. Don't take the profit out because there's a very big trade to the downside. You don't want to take the profit because it's a very, very big trade to the downside. I think we've showed you this already in the daily. There is a trade like this going down now. There's a correction there. There's a correction here. This one went up. There's a correction here. This one is going down. They're just making a correction within. You notice they don't go down in straight lines or come up in straight lines. So they might spend some time here or they may go very fast, which means every time you get a sell setup, you take the trade and you wait to see which one it's going to be. You rather have a few break-even trades before you get the big one to go, but when you get it, it's going to really make a difference in your account. Chief, stay out of this. It's going nowhere. We're expecting it to go down after this 3 wave. 1, 2, 3. This should break the top. It didn't break the top. I still think there's a chance they'll break the top, then go down. I'm not interested in the buy, and I'm not interested in a sell right now, right? Because that's not a structure I was selling to. If they come up, break the top, I would look for the sell. Otherwise, I'd stay out of it. Europound, like I said, you can go for one more sell if you get it. I don't see them starting to go up right now, but if they make a big impulse, if this impulse continues to go up, I would look for buy setups. Because we have completed, that means we would have completed daily corrective structure. So if you can review this once, let me just give a very quick review of this so that it might help you to understand how wave analysis works. Most of you who are following me, remember we caught this trade from the top there. When this one was going up, we said, this will come here. It will not break the top and it will fall. So this was the pattern we had. If you were following me here, you'd remember we had this. 1, 2, 3. Come down from there. And we started selling from here. When it broke the top, some people panicked. I said, there's no need to panic. They will have to come back, even if they're going up. Once we got that drop on, we were positive, it started to do this. You exit your trade. I said, okay, they'll make a correction here and they will drop. Right? And as you can see, my prediction after 3 waves is they will drop. That didn't happen. They came down, but it didn't drop. After they made this, we said they will drop. They came down here, but it didn't drop. They started to go back up. We told you that's not the move to the upside. It's not going to make an impulse to the upside. It's still in a bigger correction. So you could have got that sell piece. That didn't drop. It went up. You could have sold from there. That one dropped. Now we broke the low. Now we can say we have completed that pattern. You take these out, you can clearly say that looks very much like a pattern that is completed. Now, is it completed? You don't know. You don't have to know that. That's the whole thing. You can't know whether this is completed. This thing could go on for years. And the longest one we have seen is 3 years. Right? It can go on for years. You don't know when it's going to complete. It's just keep making bigger and bigger patterns with those ones that you thought were complete. They are complete pattern, but they're complete pattern in a lower degree. So can this drop one more and drop one more and then come back here and do more of this? Sure. You just keep trading. As you analyze, as the development is happening and you're analyzing and you're trying to figure out what is the bigger picture, you keep trading, you keep making money. So if you get a sell here, take it, take profit. If it turns to the upside and you get a buy, take it, keep it. You're keeping the buy for this, right? Let me show you that in practical terms, because I don't think traders really get that. It's easy to say it, right? And traders like, you keep saying, keep it, buy, sell out. That is what I did here. I looked at this pattern and I said, you know what? This thing is going to break to the downside. So I put my money in it. I put my money in it here and I put my money in it there. Both are sells. I hope this sink in. You put your money in what you think your analysis is going to be, and then you watch it happen. That's trading. When Warren Buffett buys something, he buys it for 5 years. I think the interview, I don't know if anyone of you has seen that interview. He said, if you can't hold the stock for 5 years, don't buy it. I don't have the capital like Warren Buffett. So I don't hold stocks for 5 years. My investor will just break me in two for holding a trade for 5 years. Literally. But if you don't understand the market and you can't wait a little and you don't have patience and you don't know what to chart, the reason most traders panic is because they don't know. The reason we panic is because we don't know. It's like you're in the dark. You put somebody in the dark somewhere and they will panic. They have no idea what's around them and what's going on. If you know patterns, you don't panic. You go to sleep well because you know what they're going to do. You know what those patterns are going to do. Every now and then you may see it wrong, but the patterns will behave the same way. If you got it wrong, that doesn't mean the patterns doesn't work. It means you have to get better at it. See? If you have an accident in the road, doesn't mean nobody can drive. It just means you have to learn to drive. Or the guy who hit you. One of the two, you have to learn to drive. It doesn't mean driving is impossible. If you learn this stuff the right way, you're going to save yourself a lot of panic modes. All those panic attacks you're getting, you're going to save. One of the few things that I always hear from every single trader almost who took the course, I can finally see where I'm wrong. I can see the structure. Even when I'm wrong, I understand why I'm wrong. Right? They literally see it. Even when they got it wrong, when they got the trade wrong, they got in a little too early, they took the trade a little too early, they didn't take it out. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Most traders out there don't know what they're doing. They have no idea. When that happens, they would, well, the market is random. You just take a trade and you leave it and you hope, right? Most traders tell you that. You put your entry in and you hope that it's going to work because that's their strategy, hoping, right? They got something, they said, I've seen this, and then it make 1, 2, 3, buy here and hope that it goes. They buy there, it drop like this, take them out, and then do that. And they're like, what happened? They have no idea because they cannot see. They don't understand the structure. Now, all the trolls are going to come in right now. This webinar is going to have a lot of trolls. Most of them can't make comments anymore on my chart because they are blocked. Right? They don't even know they're blocked. You guys don't even see the comments. Like I remove on the previous one, I remove about 15 comments because YouTube blocks them. YouTube put those comments reserved for me to make a decision if they're trolls or not. Right? So they don't. Some of them they have to go create new account every time, and they keep doing it, but it doesn't bother me. Right? I sometimes even have fun with it, especially when they're writing crazy stuff. They're gonna come because when I said the last time I said don't buy signals, it doesn't work. Because most of those signal sellers don't have an idea what they're doing themselves. Oh, you should have seen how many trolls came in immediately. Most of them didn't show up. YouTube just hold them back as comments that I need to look at. Well, that is because you can actually program it for that, right? If you guys run any YouTube videos, you know that. So basically, they will come in the ton. Don't buy signals. Don't listen to people who don't understand what they're doing. People who are just telling you, I looked at this strategy, use this strategy, and it will work. Your strategy has to base your analysis. If you can't understand the analysis correctly, your strategy will be wrong. It's that simple. If you don't know how to analyze the chart, any strategy you use is a guesswork. Anything you try to do, build a strategy on anything else, you can do that. You can build strategy on anything. You can go look at the wicks and build strategy. You can look at red candles and green candles and build strategy. You can look at whether the candle closed halfway, three candles sideways, all kind of stuff you can use to build strategies. But unless you know what the chart is doing, unless you understand the structure, all those strategies are useless. Because you're building a strategy as a blind spot, as a blind person. You don't know. When you understand the structure, building your strategy becomes easy. And then you start to understand what it's going to do. So come back to this again. Pretty much the same thing. What do you do when you're at the bottom here? That doesn't mean this cannot drop one more. As a matter of fact, as it looks at the structure, it could drop one more. Pong, I did all the Pong trades, so I'm not going to go through them again. We did all of them at the start. Let's go. New Zealand yen. New Zealand yen is correcting right now. I think we're going to get a deeper correction. As you can see, we're looking at a possibility for a deeper correction. Be careful if this break, you're getting a buy setup, right? Right now it's going for a buy setup. See that one there? You're going for a buy setup. But if you notice, I have this outside of here. So there's a very good chance, you'll have to be careful. There's a very good chance they're going to break out of this buy structure. So if you get into a buy, you have to be careful. They're going to break out, come back low, and then go. We have seen that pattern many times. So I'm warning you now that they will likely break out. If you get into the buy, that doesn't mean you don't take the buy. If you get into the buy, all you have to do is managing. That's a good thing. That's the amazing thing about knowledge. You know that if you get in that buy, it's a perfect buy setup. But if you get in that buy, you have to know. And if you know that there is a possibility for one more downside, you would know how to manage your trade. If you look at that and you know what, this thing is going to go. There's no more. This structure is almost completed. There's no possibility of downside. You would manage your trade differently. One, you will put the break even pretty fast. The other one, you will stay with. And very often you will be right because what you're looking at is patterns that are repeating themselves over and over. Canadian, wait for the buy setup. This could still be a big expanding flat. We were looking for a big running flat, sorry. We were expecting this thing to turn from somewhere here, upside, right? That would be the perfect running flat. It dropped a little more. It could still drop a little more. I'm not expecting them to make an expanding flat, but they could do that and still go up. Right? So we're looking for an upside, and you might be getting the buy trade very soon this week. They're starting to go up. Right? They might give you that buy setup. So I'll take this off. I'll leave this so you'll know we're looking at that as a first impulse down, right? So we've seen many of these structures and they work well. If you get a buy setup here, take the trade. Put it to break even just for the possibility of it making an expanding flat going a little lower. Swiss yen, wait, stay out of this. You don't have anything to do right now there. So by the way, remember the Swiss yen when I'm telling you what we were expecting it to do, I give everybody that trade. I said, at this level, once it breaks here, you can buy. Well, if you bought, you got this trade or you got that trade. And on the way down, you can close it here or close it here. You would have got profit in that trade regardless. And now it's making an impulsive move down. So this could have been a 1, 2, 3 that ended here. It still has to go up. That structure will still go up. The only thing is after this one, they could still come one more here and then go up. We were expecting this to go up after 3. Well, if it's going to go up after 5, that's okay. We'll look for sell setups here. If they make a bigger consolidation here, and that is possible, they pull back like this, come up here, drop here again and go. Well, we'll get the buy setup. Not this week, not next week, maybe in 2 weeks or 3 weeks time. Aussie yen, you can go for the buy setup already. I was in the Aussie yen buy. I closed it because of non-farm payroll. And the reason I closed the Aussie yen buy is not because I didn't know, because I got in early here. And then it started to go up. And the reason I closed it before non-farm payroll, they can still test the low, then go. So I didn't want to find out how much they're going to test the low during non-farm payroll and then go, which is possible, right? They could have made it drop suddenly and then go, right? If the Aussie had dropped very fast and the yen didn't do very much, or the yen dropped very fast and Aussie didn't do my agreement. So I didn't want that extra risk on my account. So I decided to do what? Manage it, took the trade off, take off the small profit. Wait, I'm still going to buy this if I get a flag here. Preferable for me is if they do this and then go. That would be the perfect trade setup. That would be 1, 2, 3, and then go back up. You got a sharp impulse here. I'm expecting a sharp impulse up. Pretty simple. Nothing difficult in there, right? You got a nice correction. This could still go more, and I hope they go more because I want them to break that low before we go up. Let's see if we get that one. If they're going to go from now, well, I'll still try to get back into the trade. Aussie Swiss, you can wait for this to finish. This looks very much like it's going to drop one more here and then go up. You'll get this pattern, and then you can wait for the buy. Aussie New Zealand, we're looking for buy setups. I have an entry order. It's not tagged as yet. I'm still there. I will be buying this. I have the entry order. I'm not removing it. I think I showed all of you that entry order. You can almost see Aussie New Zealand. I have it at 103.34. 103.33.8. It's 34 actually. No, 33, 34, same thing. So it's slightly like this, probably, if you put it, maybe move the little 33, 33, 30, 34. That's it. I'll leave it there. That's where it is. Right? That's a buy entry. And I'm leaving it there. I expect this to go down. As you can see, that was a sell setup. I didn't sell it. We saw this. I didn't sell it. I'm not interested in the sell. Let them tag me. They can go lower, by the way, so that you know, just so that you know, they can go pretty low. You would have to be able to manage that. They can come back all the way to the low. I'm not expecting them to break this low. Why am I trying to get an entry order from there? Well, because I'm looking at this structure. And if you want to know since when we were looking to buy that, since this thing was going up, right? You had 1, 2, 3 here. We bought at this level. It go, came back, go, came back. We got out of the trade. It go, came back. We sold this to the downside. It came, go, went back up. We knew that was going to go back up. So it went back up. We start selling from there. Once it breaks this low here, you're supposed to close. And some of my trader got in here because we had an entry order there. I didn't put mine on. It came up. I don't know if they took profit or they're still in the trade, but you can keep it if you want. But you know, I'll probably have taken profit and then look for this. So if this breaks out here, this is the trade we're looking for all the way to the top there. You notice I said Aussie Yen looks upside, Aussie Swiss looks upside, Aussie New Zealand looks upside. You noticing something there? Watch what the Aussie is going to do. This is going to be quite interesting. Let's see what Aussie CAD is telling us. I think you can already guess which direction we were expecting Aussie CAD to go. See, these are good trades. These trades are at the bottom. They're at the bottom. You can start focusing on them. And they have corrections that are pretty big. This is a gift if you know the trade. When you see things like that, you're pretty happy. When I see things like that have been consolidating for how long? 376 bar, 2,600. These are monthly bars, right? Weekly bars. 2,632 days. I like it. It's ready for the next impulse. It's ready for the next impulse. Almost ready for the next impulse up. Now, can they do this and do this and do this and do this and spend the next 100 days here? That's okay. You can still trade within that range, right? You can still trade within the corrections if you understand the correction well. So let's see if we have a trade set up there. Maybe, maybe not. We have an impulse, that's for sure. We have another impulse and we have another impulse. This might as well come here, come back down there, and then go. So here's the thing. I said, hey, this is a big trade up. So it comes up a little and then it falls a little lower. And then I said, look at what he said. He said it's going to go up. Look, it's coming down. Dude, I don't even know what to tell that guy. He said Punkat is going to go down. Look, Punkat is going up. I'm saying, like, going up where? Don't you look at the patterns? It's not going up anywhere. It's just sad that these guys, I don't know if they're traders or they're just, you got to be trader if you're looking at me, right? If you're watching my video, my basic assumption is that you're a trader. Right? I don't think somebody who has nothing to do with trading is watching. So the only reason you would want to troll if you're not a trader, if you're a trader but you don't like what I do, you can just leave. But the only reason troll is that what I'm saying is affecting what you're doing. If I don't like what somebody's doing, what I do, I look at it and I leave it. You could come watch my video, don't like it, leave. That's okay. But if you stay on for years and you're trolling, the only reason you will do that is because what I'm doing is hurting what you're doing. And there are only two sets of people who get hurt when I do this. Don't buy signals. The signal sellers, they really hit me. And don't just buy things from amateur, people who cannot prove their account to you. So some people get hurt again, right? They're trying to sell you something. And I'm like, hey, show us proof you can do that. Right? So show us proof you can do that. So when we go now and you say, hey, this guy is showing me his $500,000 account, live account. Can you show me yours? Of course, the guy is going to be upset because he's not trading in the account. He's going to come and troll me so that I stop doing it. That's the only two reasons you get them. it's funny because I know who are the people who are doing it. I know some of the people who are doing it. Some of them actually were in my group. A few of them that I kicked out. I know because they kind of warned me that they're going to go start doing it, right? Stop blabbling. You can leave the room. Let me see how we can do that. I can help you. Actually, what's your name? Prashant. Let me help you remove you from the room so you can leave. You have a choice. If you're not going to leave, I'm going to put you out. This is my webinar. Where are you? He's gone already because I can't find him. I think he's one of the signal service people. It's funny, I can't find you anymore. I wanted to remove him, but he's gone. No, it's okay. He has a choice. He can leave. This is my webinar. You don't like what I'm doing, leave. I don't see him on. I wanted to remove him, but he's probably gone. Anybody else don't like what I do? Your choice. Let's go. He's one of the signal service guys, I think. Let's go on. New Zealand cat. Same here. Correction. We finished this correction. We're going up, but the bigger structure here is a corrective structure. So when you get to the top, watch it. They're going to come back here. On the 4 hour, you probably look for buy setups. 4 hour, 1 hour, you look for buy setups. It's very simple, guys. If you don't like what I'm doing, you have a choice. It's that easy. All you have to do is, and I'm out of it. And don't watch the videos again. You shouldn't be wasting your time looking at something you don't like. It's your life and your time, right? So basically, let them go. I really don't understand somebody who does that. Wastes his time watching something he doesn't like and it's of no value to him. I don't do that. You shouldn't do that if your time has value to you. Don't do that. That's the craziest thing you can do if your time has value to you. We're getting buy setups here. Watch it, another buy setup up there, right? Be careful. This pattern will come down. This pattern will come down. They'll give you one more impulse up here, and then we're going to come down because this is a bigger correction within that structure. Let me show you the structure. You've got one here. You've got 1, 2, 3 here. They're going to come back for one more here. So if you're going to get any buy setup here and you take it, it's short-term trade. Look for the sell setup on the downside. Let's go. CAD Swiss. CAD Swiss, look for a buy setup. You're actually going to get a buy setup to this top, but take the profit because this pattern might continue for a longer while. If you get this move to the upside here, take the profit because they could come back down. This is a much longer time consolidation. Copper. Let's go. Copper, possibly you're going to get one more up. This very much looks like you might get one more up here. If it turns to the downside, sell. Don't go for the buy. The buy is short term. It's a bigger structure that will go down. So don't go for the buy. If this comes here, look for this trade. If it goes up one more, look for a sell setup. It goes up, make a correction, goes up one more, look for a sell setup. Make a correction, go up one more, look for a sell setup. You want this impulse to the downside. Oh, they will. I know. I like to tantalize them to get them back to. If they want to waste their life behind me, that's great. That's their life. Whatever you train yourself to be is what you will be. I'm becoming a better trader daily. What are the trolls becoming better at? Trolling. Let's go. Watch this. We're expecting this to come up like that. Make this, complete this pattern, and then go. So if you get buy setups here, take it. It's going very slow. It's going much slower in the lower time frame. But in the higher time frame, we are expecting a spike if that gets. If you don't get the spike, watch this here. If this breaks the top, it has to break this top. If it breaks that top and start to fall, take this sell because you could end up with a one more impulse here, then the sharp impulse. Right? So we're looking for that sharp impulse, but you might end up here, then the sharp impulse to the upside. Right? US oil. Okay, we probably completed the pattern, but you might be here for a longer while. We're looking for that short sell to break this low, and it broke the low. So you've got to watch this here. Now, this might not be the one that go up. This might come here. You can take the trade, but there's a likely chance they're going to come back there and then go. right? The correction might be a bigger one. You might get one more up and then the downside. This will come down. After this pattern is completed, they will come down. We're correcting this move to the upside. We're correcting this move here. So they can correct it. They can make one more. They can make a few. Then they'll probably come down for a B wave, go back up and then down. So it's going to be like a very long-term correction, but you can take the trades. Take every trade you get here and just take profit out of it. So short term, I think this is going to go back up. Yeah, we're looking at the first pattern here would be this one. 1, 2, 3. Probably go back down for this one and then go up. Right? I'll take the questions from you guys. Let me just finish a couple more and then we'll go with the questions. Same with this one. I think you can already see we draw it and they've already broken the low and they're going back up. It's just a different, slightly different pattern. This is exactly what we think they're going to do. You can put this here. Right, you can see they were already following the candles. That was drawn there, but they were already following those arrows. That was drawn there before you. SPX 500. Okay, it's still upside. So look for flags, look for corrections, buy. DAX still upside. Looks for flag, look for corrections, buy. If you get a flag or a correction here, you can buy. Let's see, Nifty. Nifty is being the most amazing one. A little more up and then you can go for your sell. Nifty we showed you. So if you remember the week before, we had Nifty going down here and we said we expected to make, I don't know what happened to the arrow, but there was an arrow showing you that this should go up and then from there downside, right? If you go back to the webinar and check this if you want. This thing has been amazing. It has just been so smooth. Everything we forecast and it worked perfectly. When this comes up here, look for your sell setup. You can, if you're in the buy, you will have to start moving your stop. Now, we don't know how high it's going to go, but I'm not expecting them to break this stop. So you just follow it until it turns and give you a sell signal. It's just working amazing. Let's see, Bitcoin. Bitcoin, more downside, I think, possible. On the bigger picture, it looks like they can go down more. This is looking more like not the impulse you wanted. This was the first impulse. I think we're pretty much, this didn't break the top. Look for this to probably come back here. Right? We're more in a bigger consolidation. I don't think this will turn out to, if they don't break the low, they come back here and decide to go back up, you can buy, right? If they don't, but if they drop and break the low, that means you have to wait for another impulse, wait for the correction, and then you get in the buy. Same here. This you can already see a pattern for downside. So I think they'll break the low and then go back up. I think this one will break the low and then go back up. You can see all these patterns, just break the low, go back up. They just break this low and then they go right back up. And this is the same. This is the only one we had for the upside. This was the one we had, and I still think this is going to go up. You may get a correction here and more upside. Actually, this one was one of our traders said, look at this, because this one is pretty much going to go up, right? Somebody wanted one chart. We're going to do that one chart, and then I'll answer all your questions. Let's go. What is the chart somebody asked for? I think was, okay. Oh, Turkish lira. Let's see. I'm just going to do that one, and then we'll go straight into questions. Take some questions. Turkish lira. Okay. This one might come down a little more. We were expecting them to break the low before they go up. But if you get a flag here, make an assumption that they're not going to break the low, right? So you've got a pattern here like 1, 2, 3. They come down here and then they start the upside. So I don't see this as the start of the upside as yet. There's a possibility that they're going to come lower, which means if you get a buy setup on it, if you get a buy setup here, take it, take your profit, take it, take your profit. Expect this to drop lower. If you get the sell, take it and keep it, right? S&P 500, I just did, it's upside, right? All the other charts will have to wait. We are already very close to the hour, so let's get the questions. Let me scroll back and see what questions we can get. There are a few Indians copying you. Well, let them do it. I mean, if whoever following them, that's their bad thing, right? If you follow those guys, you will lose your account and then you will come. You know how many people wrote me that they lost their account for the last 3 months? Well, my question is, where the hell were you before? I mean, if you're following somebody dumbly, even if you're following me blindly and losing your account, then something is wrong with you. Because I keep saying, don't follow anyone blindly. Don't buy any stuff just crazily from people. And the people who you would see like that Prashant guy who's making those noise, those are the people who are selling signals. He's one of the signal service seller. So he doesn't like me. Every time you talk about that, his business goes down the drain, right? Because he can't scam people anymore. People get smarter. And that is why we said videos like this should get to everyone. get to everyone simply so that they should know. Within your first year of trading, you should not buy anything from anybody, including from me or from anyone. Because within the first year, you're so ignorant of trading, you have no idea what it is. And whatever you're going to buy from anyone may look like it's really has value, but it has zero value most of the times. I paid $5,000 to learn support and resistance. Anyone see me using it? No, it's useless. I paid $5,000 for useless stuff. Now, if you have an extra $5,000 and you like to throw it away, then that's your business. If you're throwing away your only $5,000, then God help you. If you were too lazy to do the research and search around and do all that stuff, I was too lazy probably. Although I think I looked at about thousands of videos before I actually bought that course. But I bought it within my first month of search, which was wrong. I think the first or the second month I was searching that, because every day I would look at about 5 to 10 videos. So you don't have enough knowledge to make that decision. I made the decision out of ignorance to buy the course because I thought that guy made sense to me at that time. With zero knowledge, he made sense that he knew something. But when I figure out 6 months into his course, I figure, oh, this is a waste of time. This is just crap. And I wasted 6 months of my life there. Had I kept my search up and learned by myself, I probably wouldn't have lost the 5,000. That's one for that course. But 5,000 was nothing compared to what I actually lost before that. Not trading by myself and not me trading. Other people trading by account. Lost it, right? That's a whole different story. But basically, a lot of these guys just throw their money away because they're too lazy to learn. Then let them go. If they want to buy signals, go buy it. I will warn those who need the warning. Right? I will say it every week. Those who don't like it, don't come. I will say it every week. Don't buy signals. Don't follow these dumb guys. Don't buy anything for your first year. If you don't like what I say, it's your choice. Right? People watch my video and they decide if they like it or not. 7,000, 8,000 views on every video. Can you explain what actually happened on Punkat? Nothing. Let me just go to the Punkat which I can show you. Nothing happened. It just didn't go as deep as I thought it would go in the structure. So let's look at Punkat, where it was wrong, or where did we make a mistake? So actually, it should have been. I should have seen that coming, just that I didn't get the chance to get out of the trade. So we saw this structure here. Well, this is what we're looking at. We're expecting this one here to make one more down here and then go back up. We like them to come back to these levels. They don't have to. So you've got this one move up. You've got to pull back. So we made an assumption that that's a three-wave structure to come here. That was my assumption that it's a three-wave structure to go up. Why am I not wrong and this is not going up? So they consolidated here. And if they consolidated there, you should be looking for a buy setup rather than a sell. I got tagged in this sell, breaking of this structure here. See that? So this one should go. Well, it didn't go. Is it wrong? Is the structure wrong? No, you can still do this. You can still do this. And this is the end of this wave. And this wave could still go up. And it could still go up. And nobody says they don't make a consolidation here and go back up. I think it's over now. It's just that this wave ended here and we didn't expect. You could have put it as ending here or ending here. It doesn't matter which one. Right? So where the wave end is where I got it wrong, what I think. But the bigger structure for the downside, absolutely going, right? It will continue to go. That's the whole big picture. If you understand the big picture, you're not afraid of being in the trade or understanding what the trade is going to do. So if you're expecting me to teach you the whole structure, well, you're not going to get that. I just give you an idea what it is. But when we look back and we look at the structure, you understand what you're looking at, right? Do you think I can become good at identifying the patterns and following your work from all the rules? No, you won't, because you don't know the rules. The basic idea for you to actually learn these things is that you have to know the rules and you have to let us correct you when you're doing it wrong, which is what the traders in my group get. You will learn something. I'm not saying you wouldn't learn anything. One thing is you would learn is that you wouldn't follow people who are selling signals and people who are selling you some strategy and support and resistance. You would learn that there are waves in the market and that the waves work. You may be able to identify some of the simple waves in it, but learning to do this the in-depth way you should know it correctly if you really want to become a successful trader. No, this is what I'm doing here is not a course. It's not a teaching material. These are my weekly views on the charts. I share my weekly views for free in here. And that is why I can tell anybody to leave, because I don't give a damn. This is my weekly view and it's free. So if you don't like what I do, leave. I can tell them to leave. If you like it, you can keep watching. I'm pretty happy when people watch and they make a good comment and they're there. If you don't like what I do, don't waste your time. If you think what I'm doing doesn't make sense to you, don't waste your time. Your time is more precious than that. Go learn support and resistance. Go learn something else, right? Do whatever you think works for you. But if you like what I do, if you understand what I do, if you're starting to figure out that this thing is really has value and it's working, then use more time to learn it because it really works. And I'm showing you in a live account every week. The people who don't like that is there are some people selling you their all kinds of system and all kinds of crazy stuff. Some of them are even pretending to be wave analysis and they can't show you an account. Well, that's what you should demand from them. Do you think I can become good at? I think I just answered that question. A New Zealand cat have very good structure. Yes, thank you. That's good. Can you correlate? Can look correlated? They're not. I'm not sure what that was, but if you're talking about all the pound pairs looking the same, they're not really correlated. It's just the pound movement in them. It doesn't mean they will all move the same way, right? Because some of them might start like the yen. I don't think the yen is moving like the rest of them, right? So there aren't correlation there, right? Don't look for correlation in currencies. It's a waste of time, right? It's rare, and you might see sometimes they go the same direction, but eventually they turn and they start going in the opposite direction. Well, what happened to the correlation? Correlation should be there all the time or not, right? So I don't waste my time doing all those stuff. When there is a sell of in Bitcoin. Oh, okay. I see that. I think most traders say that, but I don't know. I don't trade those currencies directly. I don't follow them so close. So I don't know if Bitcoin is leading the movement and all of them, but I would be careful of that. I would look at each one individually to make sure that the pattern that I'm looking to buy or sell is on that one individually, and it has nothing to do with Bitcoin. That is how I would treat it. I can't say for sure that Bitcoin is not doing that, but I have no idea, right? Bitcoin doing everything with no, I think, you see, that's the thing. You guys look at the pattern. The Bitcoin started an impulse up. We got in that impulse. It go up, it stopped. It started correct. My traders would exit. Once we see that, we'll exit. So what happens? Every move, okay, I don't waste time on that. It's gonna be, it's not, like I said, it's not easy for you guys to understand. It's a complex structure. The patterns are complex. You can only start understanding them when you know all the rules and all the things we teach you and when we train you how to do that. Now, can you do it on your own? Maybe if you watch me for 20 years, maybe you will start figuring out some things. Or you can take a 6-week course and do that. Those are the two options you have. You can either move, you can become a lawyer by studying all law by yourself. But most people go to law school, right? Most people go to university so that they will make that process faster and start making money faster than spend their whole life reading and learning on their own and becoming a lawyer when you're, 90s. Nobody will hire you to do the work, right? So just not if your guys are comparing Bitcoin with the one that I said will go up, every time Bitcoin came down, that thing makes a correction, but eventually it's going up, right? We can use flags in option trading. Depends on what option trading you're doing. Here's the whole thing. Flags and all these things you're learning is analysis. I'm showing you my analysis. That's all I'm doing. I'm analyzing the chart from you, saying to you, hey, this is what I see, right? It's not a trade call. It's not even a trade entry. It's nothing. It just says, I think it's going to go down. Now you have to let it prove it's going to go down. And that's where strategy comes in. You don't know. If you can't understand the pattern very clearly, like I showed you, sometimes I get to the trade 4 or 5 times before it eventually goes. Silver, I'm buying silver every time. Will silver go? You will all still be here to follow me a year from now to see if silver goes, and you will see my account double on silver alone. Because silver will go. The only question is it going to go now? Can it make a new low before it goes? We look at the structure and said, yeah, that's possible. One more low is possible based on the structure you have. Does that mean that structure cannot go now because one more is possible? It just depends on whether the structure is becoming a simple structure or more complex. Here is a good example. If you get 1, 2, 3, that thing could fall because this by itself is a complete pattern. Separately by itself, it is a complete pattern. If you get 1, 2 more to it, that could go. That by itself is a complete pattern. If you get this and you get that, now that pattern is not complete. The minute they do this and they do that, that pattern is no longer complete. You're going to get more of this. See? How many of you would want to figure it out? You can't figure that out because you don't know the rules. You don't understand the structure. You haven't done the intense work we are doing in it. And that's when we know. So the only time I know that this structure is changing and it will become more complicated and more difficult is when this happens. If you were trading with me here, I would say, look for a seller, look for a seller, look for a seller. And then I would say, okay, look for buys, watch it here, they'll come down and go back up, and then look for a sell. Can this become a more complex pattern? Of course. Let me show you how it will become more complex. They can do this. Go back up there and then come down. This will take about 4 years more. But they can make the structure much more bigger than it is right now, and it will still be a corrective structure. I showed you one of that today. I really don't know how I can get this over to you guys. Here is one of them. You know, when we started to buy this thing, we started to buy it at this point here. See this point here? 1, 2, 3. We bought. It came down. We kept it. It went back. It started to come down. Take us out. Take me out personally. Went back, came down, went back. We figure out this is going to go down, tag the low, and then go back. That is why we had an entry out of there. Can they come back here and tag the low one more and then go? Yes, but they will have to come back here first, then tag the low, then go. You can't understand what I just said. You wouldn't. There's nowhere you can understand without understanding the rules for everything. Can I please send you a chart from trading chart and investing.com? It's not a trade. No, you don't have. I don't have a problem with you sending me any chart from anywhere. It's just that I don't have the time to answer to charts. I don't make comments on any chart sent to me because I have thousands and thousands of people following me, and I have traders who I have to deal with every day. So I don't answer to charts, right? How much? Sorry about that. How much the price of your education? Send me a Skype message and you will know. Somebody just gave you, but send me a Skype message and I'll give you the details. It's not just the price that is interesting; the entire details you get. It is logical that punk had and it's short punk had and long. It's possible. If the US is going to fall stronger, then CAD is going to go up. Punk CAD will still go down. Very often, though. Good question. Very often, though, when I notice that you have all the charts line up, like all the punk pairs line up, it is likely going to be a punk movement. In rare cases, the punk is not the driver, or you might see cases where the punk, like if you were looking last week, Swiss going, CAD going down, punk going down, CAD, yen, and Swiss going down, Euro, New Zealand, and Aussie going up. The only thing that was coming down was the punk. That means all punk pairs keep falling very fast. I'm expecting both CAD to come down and punk to come down at some point. Is it better to enter a trade in one lot or divide it? That depends on your style of trading. I don't divide and enter. Every trade for me is a separate trade. So I have 2 trades in the punk CAD, but both trades are treated separately. Actually, it's not only 2 trades. I made about 4 trades in the punk CAD. Sell. So like I said, I told you I closed a few of them, right? But every trade is separate. This one is treated now as a long-term trade. It means everything that I was upside down there, unless there is a structural change, I will keep that for as much profit down. Every time I take this one from the top here, I could close that. If they get a flag here, I could close that and take a next sell. Not a flag, close it, take a next sell. So I treat every trade separately, right? This trade has no attachment to the first trade. The first trade has its own stop, its own risk, its own reward. The new trade that I take may have their own risk, their own reward, but that's my trading style, right? That's just trading style. It could be different for you. You could go in small lots if that makes you comfortable. You could come off small lots. The only difference in that is that you will either make more or less money than I do. Depends on who's writing it, right? So you will, if it goes in our direction, I will make more money than you. If it doesn't go in our direction, I may lose more money than you too. But if I'm right most of the time and I'm wrong, and hopefully that is so, my account will grow faster than yours. That's the only difference. That's just style. It doesn't really matter. Just do whatever is comfort. What makes you comfortable? What makes you don't panic when you trade? If that makes you don't panic, then go ahead and do it. I'm okay with that. It's just not my style. All right, that has nothing to do. So, okay, guys, I want to thank all of you for coming. All the people in YouTube for coming. I hope the next time you can come here. I have a course ongoing. After the ongoing course, I will probably plan a 1-week live trading again. I hope you guys enjoyed it the last time and you would willingly come again and see it. And I hope you can spread these webinars. Here's why you need to spread these videos. so that at least somebody watch it once. If he's one of the people buying signals, he might think twice, right? Only once I need them to look at it. That's it. They don't look at it, but they will learn something, that you shouldn't be buying all those crap out there. You lose your account. And you will lose a lot of money to following these guys. Signal service don't work. It just doesn't work. It never, ever proven to be working. Don't buy. They will come and troll me, but don't buy the signals. Thank you guys for coming. Have a great weekend and have a great week ahead. Make profit, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.